I feel very comfortable. I feel very comfortable in this market, despite being at these very high levels. A lot of things that I've been thinking should and could happen today are happening today. One, that the economy is relatively strong. Companies are making money, earnings are relatively high. We're seeing that in Nike. Nike blew out expectations. This is very discretionary spending. This is athletic clothing. It's not just clothing, it's clothing for a purpose. You can wear, if you're cheaping out, you don't need brand new expensive Nike, but Nike's ridiculously exceeding expectations. They have been for some time. So that's a good indicator. The next is that there's some inflation, It was expected that we would have some pretty hot inflation. We met our expectations with inflation. That is not really reversing in the other direction. And there is no more stimulus checks coming. So that is continuing in the face of no immediate stimulus checks. The final of the good things, before we get to the one not so good thing that we talked about yesterday, that we're going to walk back a little bit today. The final good thing, at least from our objective reality, our fact-based, wanting to see what should happen, perception of the world, bond yields moved up a little bit today. Bond yields moved up. Wow. It's been a while since we saw any of that. We'll see if this trend continues, but that is something that should happen. So it's good to see that the market's being rational. Regardless, it does seem that this could pour some cold water on the tech trade. Let's not forget, this tech trade's nothing new. I know, Virgin Galactic's up big today. Some of us might be making big money with that. I have a position. But I trimmed that position today. Why? Well, bond yields are ticking up. And as I said, this move is nothing new. This move has been going on for over a month. These tech stocks have been rallying. And they're reaching a pretty expensive level. And we're going to need to see some serious hardcore inflation for them to keep up. But, inflation that's going to help their earnings trajectory and somehow prove that they're going to get more cash flow. But as bond yields tick up on inflation concerns, meaning, hey, you guys got to give us more dollars back, they're going to compete, these stocks, with bond yields. And let's not forget, the bond market is significantly bigger than the stock market. So that's a thing. Another thing is this infrastructure package. That is good. We want to see it. We want to see it in the way we talked about it yesterday, up until when there was all those people outside the White House, Republicans and Democrats, the way it was presented there. That's how we want to see it. But it was later talked about by the press secretary, by Joe Biden, by Pete Buttigieg, that this is one piece of 100% of what we want. That's ridiculous, because the only reason why the Republicans walked up their total that they were willing to work with, remember they started with $500 billion. It's now about $1 trillion plus. The only reason why the Republicans walked it up there is because they didn't expect more money to come in and be used on things like government-run schools, which have never been all that good. Starting them with young children so the government can be in charge of your children's upbringing because you're such a deficient parent or couldn't have a stable home, in which case you shouldn't have even had a child. But, the devil is out there in the streets these days, and some people want to facilitate that. Whatever. Yeah, it's a ridiculous move. It's a ridiculous political move, You had a good bill. You had a lot of good things happening. Broadband, bridges, dams, massive reduction to trading times, lots of jobs. You had all the important stuff, and you had to throw a monkey wrench into everything. So we'll see what happens with that. My expectation is it still gets passed in the form that was discussed originally yesterday. The rest of the stuff is to appease the radical left just so they can not freak out about it and there's not a massive division in the Democrat Party. But we'll see. We'll see. We will see. It's something to think about. So cold water on that. But if somehow the infrastructure package does pass, which I hope and expect, but we'll see. Big rotation from the tech to the industrials, bond yields rise. That's the reality move. That's what should happen. So we're playing that. We've got our tech stocks, but some that are getting very expensive, we are writing call options out against at even higher prices at ridiculous premiums. So we're ready. Bring it on. We'll see what happens. And until next time, peace out.